Thank you. Mr. Rollins, you are a past chair of the Dallas Convention and Visitors Bureau, right?
Yes, sir.
What would be, as mayor, what would be your sales pitch to lure more businesses and tourism and Fortune 500 companies to Dallas? And Chief, don't jump out of your seat, because I know when I say lure businesses to Dallas, you have something to say about that. But you first, Mr. Rollins.
First of all, I probably do need to respond to Chief about this, continue this half-baked notion. So you guys can be the judge yourself. Right out there, there's a brochure that's got my whole plan on it. Very comprehensive, it's very sustainable. It was written by the Assistant Secretary of Education, Tom Luce, the Board of Directors, the School Board Superintendent, Mike Moses. It's very thoughtful, but you'll make the choice. But I do have one piece.
There seems to be a little bit of something going on between you and the Chief tonight.
No, well, I just want to respond and make sure everybody gets to choose the right things. And you bring us the best out of us, don't worry, I think. But hey, one piece of homework. Please do this. If you do nothing else, okay? Go rent Waiting for Superman, okay? Just rent it. It's gonna. We gotta do this, guys. Just rent it. You'll make your own decisions on that. My parents were teachers, and it's just important. Okay, we gotta bring businesses to town. This is what I did. I am a marketer by trade. 20 years in the advertising business. I put logos on rocket ships and did silly things like that. So I'm that guy. I'll tell you this. My first account that I worked on was the North Texas Commission. We did this ad. I don't know if you remember, because it ran in the Wall Street Journal and New York Times just for this. And it had this line. It had a picture of the Manhattan Island and our DFW airport. And it said, "We have an airport bigger than the island of Manhattan." And it got a lot of phone calls, you know, because we just did things a little bit bigger. And I think that's the notion we want. I think we need to talk, first of all, about our can-do spirit and about our human capital. Companies want to come to winners. So that's the DNA of this place, and we need to express that. We need to be the best place in America to do business, and that's what people want. We're not there yet. We've got a lot of work to do, but I think that's the pitch. Third, we are creating a soul that is very unique and very special. With our arts and community and what it's starting to do, we're going to be world class. And once we transform this city with the Trinity River, I mean, people are going to start to flock. Now, fortunately, I've got the Rolodex to deal with CEOs, and I've already, since I started running, have had 4 tips of companies that were inside discussions at their board of directors that they're thinking about moving. Big companies, and we're perfect for them. I know how to do business to business, sit across the table and talk to CEOs. And it's not about just moving their companies, it's about moving their families. People move their families, their kids, their wives, their executive teams. This town is all about opportunity, but it's great for families. And that's what we need to express. And I think we're sitting in a very nice place to do that.
Now, Chief Kunkel, you don't believe that it should be all about luring big businesses to the city. You have a different approach. Is that correct?
No, I think every corporate 500 company you get to come to Dallas is a tremendous accomplishment for the city, and I believe Mike has access to CEOs. I do believe that they're going to go where their costs are the lowest, and if we have the lowest cost, then they'll end up in Dallas. If some other city or urban area has lower costs, they'll go to where their costs are lower. I have a book I would recommend people read, Wrestling with Moses. Has anybody read that book? Okay. It's really a debate about how cities can develop and grow their economy and be sustainable. And essentially, it's about New York City in the 60s. And there's another book written about the same kind of debate. It's called The Power Broker. this degree. But essentially, my view is that what's going to be the best for our people who live in the city of Dallas is to have strong neighborhoods. And if we have strong neighborhoods, we'll have economic development, and we'll have money and jobs flowing through our economy. I don't believe we do a good job with our tax incentives. Two ways. We talk about jobs being created, and we don't track whether those jobs are actually created and sustained, number one. And number two, whether those people who are given the jobs live within the corporate city limits of Dallas. If they don't live here, then we see very little benefit. A good example of that's what happened with Pizza Hut when they moved their corporate headquarters from Madison to Plano. When they made that move, Plano paid $6 billion for the relocation. They talked about getting 400 jobs, but I have a hard time believing that somebody's going to move out of their house when their corporate headquarters moves 8 miles further north in the Metroplex. My view is if we can get corporate headquarters, great, but I don't think that should be our primary economic development philosophy.
Mr. Cobb, do you want to?
We absolutely have a best chance. I want you to know that the chief's wife was the only person that raised her hand to bring job creation and growing our economy go hand in hand. And when I got on the city council, I have to admit, we didn't do much of it. We were living under the Monroe Doctrine. We thought Dallas was a great place, and if business wanted to come here, they would come. We've changed that. We have gone out proactively and marketed the city, not only nationally, but internationally, and it's paid off. We have a great story to tell. We have a great business story to tell about the cost of doing business and what it takes to do business here. And we also have a good quality of life story to tell. Because business just doesn't move because you've got the lowest tax rate, or you have good labor, or you're located in the middle of the United States, and you've got the third biggest airport in the world. They need to have the quality of life issues for their employees. They want parks, and they want recreation, and they want a lively downtown, and they want an arts district. They want all of those things. And if you put those together, we have a good story to tell. And it's proved. That's why we've been able to move the companies that we have here, the AT&Ts, the Comerica banks, and dozens of other companies that you don't recognize the name of to here. And we've created jobs. In the 4 last years, the worst economic times this country has suffered, we have grown the economy of Dallas, Texas by 17%. And we didn't do that by sitting around and not being proactive to it. So we have been going out and doing that, and that, I believe, is the secret to how we're going to continue to move the city forward. While some people may think that abatements and TIFs and other help that we get to move those corporations here are a waste of city money, I believe they're a good investment. We do not open the windows on the 5th floor of City Hall and throw $1,000 bills out to anybody who's thinking to come. We analyze the move, we decide whether it's good enough for the city and good enough for the company. For every dollar that we invest in a program like that, we get a $15 return to our economy. That's better than the stock market, folks. So I think we've been very frugal and fiscally responsible on how we hand those out. If you get a 15-to-1 return anywhere else, please let me know after this meeting, because I want to find out where that is. And the last thing, I moved out of the Rolodex age a long time ago. I started using a BlackBerry, and I've got like 16,000 people in here that I can call without having to flip through the little paper Rolodex. Just a bit of humor.